Welcome to Option Trades today. I'm Tony the Bat Batista right here from downtown Chicago, right here in the Bat Cave. It is June 27th, 2024. And I have a trade for you today, but first, let's take a quick look at the market. Even the S&Ps, well, after being higher, well, they were lower last night by 20 handles. They were higher this morning. You can see here the high is quadruple nickels, 5555, and the low is 5515 and change. That's about a 40 handle difference between high and low. Yet we are basically unchanged. Even the S&P down 2. The Nasdaq is up 16. The Russell's up 3, and the Dow is up 38. Volatility continues to be depressed, making it harder for us to find premium selling strategies. Volatility down 10, and for that reason, I'm going to go to MU, which had earnings this morning, last night after the close. First time you could trade it or trade the options were this morning. Stock's down $9 presently. You can see here that MU has a good correlation with the market, although it has sold off the last week or so going into its earnings. Matter of fact, it has a 61% correlation, or 0.61, I should say, correlation with the overall market, which makes it, put it to you this way, Qs compared to the SPY has about a 90.90 correlation. MU to the S&P has about a 0.60 correlation. Relatively high correlation for a stock. So I'm going to go to August, as we always do. We always go around 45 days, closest to 45 days in the monthly options. I know I have the weekly options here. You can click on this little funnel here and go to just regular options. That might make it a little bit easier for you to see. If you don't trade the weekly options, you can simply do that. You'll notice that July monthly options, or the regular options, have 22 days. We like to close, roll, or bring our trades from the front month to the back month, which would be August with 50 days, around 21 days. So that's today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. So for that reason, I'm not looking to make a trade in July. I'm looking to make a trade in August. And since this stock had earnings this morning, obviously this is a post-earnings, which means after earnings trade. I'm going to go to August, plenty of days, 50. So I'm going to allow myself to go a little further out of the money. The monthly implied 45, the monthly IV of 45 is relatively high. You take a look at something, since I mentioned SPY, we'll just put up SPY. SPY has around a 13 or 14% implied volatility. That's why you've got /VX around $14, $13.85. Give you a different example, like in NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a monthly implied volatility of around 53. So MU, with the monthly implied volatility of around 45, is relatively high. Relatively high monthly implied volatility, good correlation to the overall market. IV rank is what this monthly implied volatility is compared to itself. On that ranking goes from 0 to 100. Around 50, we would consider anything over 50 to be, relatively high end. Anything over around 25 to 30, we consider it high end. Now, after earnings, what usually happens is volatility contracts, and volatility has contracted greatly in MU, which is Micron Technologies. But as you can see here, over time, this implied volatility rank is relatively high, especially after earnings. So for me, I'm going to go to a Strangle in MU because I have no directional opinion on MU at all. I'm just going to see if the stock can beat me over time, and I hope that it can't. So I'm going to go to the August options. I'm going to go, you know what we try to do, around that 20 to 16 delta. You'll notice the 115 puts have a 16 delta. Let's take a look at those first. And I'll go up to the 16 delta here is the 160s, and I can collect $3.65. A pretty good amount of credit to receive on buying power of only $1,300. A 74% pop, almost $10 or $11 a day in theta decay, with a $15 expected move top to bottom over the next 50 days in MU. This 160 Strangle puts you at or outside this expected move. But I'm going to go a little bit tighter to the money, and look to collect a little more credit. Now here's $544, $43. I believe I got filled at $543. I'll check it for you in one moment. Here's $543 on 13, let's just call it $1,400 in buying power. A very high buying power to ratio of credit received. Something you really like to see when you're selling premium is using as little amount of money as you can and collecting the most you can. I'm going to ramp it up a little bit here and go very delta, well, not very delta neutral. It says it has two long deltas. Well, as the stock moves up or down, it's kind of small delta. Right now it's two long deltas. But really a delta neutral trade, and instead of having a 74% pop, I'm going to go that 68% pop. Still outside the expected move to the upside, just inside the expected move to the downside. That's that green area here. My break even on this is the credit you received minus the strike that you are short. So on the downside, if you were to receive a $5 credit, your break even would be $1.15. My break even is just slightly below that because I've got $5.43. And again, if you're do the same math, 155 to 160. 160.43 would be my break even. Right where this green line is, that's what shows you your break even. A little over $12 in theta decay, closer to 13. Two long deltas. As the stock moves up by $1, you'll probably be breaking even. Max profit, obviously what you sold it for, $5.43. We hope that the stock goes sideways, cooperates with our strategy, and only using around $1,400 in buying power. This is probably one of the best buying power to credit received to probability of profit trades that I've put on in a long time, which can only mean one thing. It's going to go horribly wrong. But you know what? 68% of the time, we're going to be right on this. What's my price target on my profit here? You know me, around $1, maybe slightly a little bit more, since we went a little bit tighter and we got a little bit more credit there, buck 43. That's completely up to you. But you know what's not up to you? I demand you, I expect you, you should move, transfer your account to Tasty Trade. Keep all of our content here at Tasty Live free to you and help us keep the lights on.